And so per Casey Johnson, and what he was talking about on the CHSN network, is that it seems like the Bulls are not going to be drafting Derik. Derik Queen is not on the Chicago Bulls board. It is what it is. Now, I've said before, to me, sometimes with the measurement stuff, I get it that it's the time where you overanalyze some of that. And sometimes you have to just look at the players and what they did on the basketball court when it was 5-on-5. What did they do on the basketball court, right? But you have to recognize that there are a lot of teams now saying that Derik Queen has considerably fallen down their board. He's gone from somebody who a lot of people talked about as being right outside the top 5 to now being somebody that is probably going to drop maybe even outside the lottery, right? And so that's something that, you got to keep, you got to watch, you got to monitor. But it seems like with the Bulls, and we talked about yesterday, their focus, right? They want to get two-way players in here. They want to get switchable bigs if they are big. They want to get people that can play with the pace that they like to play with, all those type of things. It's not just about the shooting, right? It's about the overall fit. And I've said this before. If the Bulls are actually looking at people that fit this roster, that says a couple of things. One, that says that you have a level of confidence in where this roster is and where it can go. Two, it means that you're actually trying to build a team smartly. One of the things that towards the end of the GarPax era, they were drafting guys just to draft them, right? Hoping that something was going to stick. Had no real thought about how those pieces were going to fit together or not fit together, which then affected how you were able to evaluate them, all those type of things. You do want to keep in mind the fit, right? Now, it doesn't seem like the Bulls are and Casey Johnson did say this, they're not as focused on a singular position, but more so the fit, the play style, and the athleticism, right? Because that is something that is part of the identity that this team is building. They don't want to put themselves in a position where you're playing with the Vooch who, Nikola Vucevic in the half-court offense for the Bulls was damn good last year. But you've seen some pretty big caveats that we've had to make defensively to overcompensate for the lack of defense that Vooch brings, namely going to a zone, the hybrid zone that we've gone to sometimes, going to a full-on 2-3 zone. Some of that has been mainly because Vooch can only play in drop coverage. So when you put it in zone, drop coverage is actually more effective in a zone defense. And so the Bulls don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to have to build a whole entire play style for your team based off a severe limitation of somebody who is a big part of that team, right? So they want to have more flexibility and fluidity in how they're building their team. And it seems like Derik Queen is not part of that. And that's an unfortunate part. Well, if you don't get it right? Like, let me be clear here. There is a huge world in which Derik Queen is somebody that a lot of these teams pass up on.